Good evening and welcome to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague. Thank you for joining us for 2 series tonight. Let's take a look at which teams we have in store for you tonight. Our first series is going to be Team Vega Squadron. And that's actually a team that we're going to see twice in a row. But in the first series, they will face up against Monkey Busniess, who seem to change their logo all the time, by the way. Or this is the back. This is the different logo.
Ah, so it's the same.
They have the one now. They have the gorilla with the laser glasses.
Are they actually laser glasses or are they sunglasses?
They're sunglasses. Our second series is No Logic Gaming taking on the Vega Squadron. And of course, with me in the studio, we have a couch full of lovely people. And they're actually sunglasses, I think.
I think they are sunglasses.
Really? Or am I confused with Monkey Freedom Fighters?
Monkey Freedom Fighters, the one where it's a gorilla with the French flag. Yeah, with the glasses.
Damn those monkeys. They confused me.
Gosh darn it.
Come on.
No, they did change.
Did it?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's always been the Skype logo.
The Skype emoticon.
Yeah, no, but I remember thinking it was such a shame they had the nice Skype logo monkey, and now they have something else.
No, but that's still the Skype logo monkey.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
But I think in game they have now, like on their flags, they have
maybe
like,
in game.
something
maybe
else.
in game the pennant is different. Maybe.
Yes. But anyway, Shane, how are you all doing tonight?
Excellently.
Excellently.
I'm alright.
Oh, what's
Sorry, I had to break the chain.
What's
I just couldn't. What?
What's happening?
Was there a game
I'm
last
actually
night?
fine, but I did have to shave my beard after getting kissed by that guy on the bus.
Oh.
So,
You go to the
that part
hospital,
was,
they like cut it off.
yeah, definitely. I had him surgically remove it. No, I'm good though. I'm good. I'm ready for Dota.
Yeah. Good. Me too. Happy that we found the spaceship again. Had a panic moment when we got in. The spaceship was lost.
Someone hit it.
Yes.
I think it was Martin. He wanted to finish it.
Yes.
Classic
and he hit it not real well.
Well, it was
actually, it was
upstairs.
on a shelf upstairs as well. Like pretty hefty. But good day today. We have some great series coming up ahead. But of course, yesterday we had a great series as well. Yesterday we only had 1 series though. We had No Logic Gaming taking on the Monkey Freedom Fighters. And we can take a look at what that series looked like because we have a recap of yesterday's games.
He could go back and buy like BKB straight up if he feels he needs it.
Talking about going back, they need to, because the pressure's being put onto the tier 3 here. They will see the tombstone drop, but Excalibur heads onto the front line trying to remove it. Has of course got that Aegis. Guards will get dragged back. They'll find themselves the first kill here on the defense. Now the Aegis have been popped here on Excalibur.
This is real bad.
Mitch and Milan have to be
dead.
very careful, and Excalibur will turn onto Demon. He'll find one, but now here comes the ult from Sing Sing. They clean up. They've found 2 more. They've found a 4th.
That was brutal.
As NLG Arise trying to kill Spartan, but they just can't kill the IO. Relocates to the side.
Okay.
It is into Yapzor, so Spartan does lose his life there, but it's all right elsewhere. Excalibur's looking for the racks, and he'll find it.
Right?
I think Excalibur's dead.
No, the Wisp is dead.
Okay. He might get Yapzor. Oh, Yapzor.
Miss chance. All right, he's not missing at all, actually. Okay, he's not missed a single auto attack.
Carter turns back up, just jumps in. I think Steve might kill them. Oh, yeah. Here we go, guys.
Oh, God.
That damage reduction, Quill Spray, where you at? And Wave 2, where you at?
More buybacks.
Okay, buyback for the
Ember's alive.
Bristle.
The series ended in a 1-1, and we can take a look at what that does to the scores with our updated standings. And for Monkey Freedom Fighters as well as for No Logic Gaming, they're both standing even. But we can take a look at the standings. Yeah.
Wow.
So they're both still even. They're 3-3 for No Logic Gaming, and Monkey Freedom Fighters is 4-4. But they're actually looking pretty comfortable, I think.
Rise messaged me last night and asked how many games we need to win to be secured in. Does anybody know? Because I didn't want
a tiny bit early to know that.
Yeah, I said it depends on other
so
teams.
if you go even, you're already ahead of Empire.
Yes.
Right? Monkey Business are 1-3, so they got to win a lot. Like they actually have to 2-0, I think, 2 times. Two different series they have to 2-0, I think, to feel comfortable in the standings. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's still too early to tell 100%. Because every team plays 14
Alliance
games.
also still can play even.
Yeah.
Like Alliance is doing really well, but in theory, if they lose,
their last 4, yeah, they could end up 7-7. That's true. So it is too early to tell.
And I think we decided, based on previous results, that if you have less than 7 losses, you're safe.
Less than 7.
Like, you're safe regardless. After that, it's going to be...
Okay, so just go positive.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about like only losses rather than amount of wins. So I guess you'll have more than 7 wins.
8.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
8 wins.
8 wins or more.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're above 7 losses. Yeah, that makes sense. So you can tell him that.
Okay, well.
He's
Just don't 1-1 every team. Try to 2-0 at least one team.
Yes.
And then don't get 2-0'd. There you go.
What a strategy.
basically
is, like-
don't lose.
It's much easier to remember that, right? Like just if you 1-1, you're okay. If you 2-0, you're good. If you get if you lose 2-0, then you're in trouble.
Unless you also win the 2-0 a different time. So you even it out.
Okay, so then if you get 2-0, then you have to 2-0 twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Or you 2-0 only once and you do 1-1.
Win more games than you lose.
We need Lumi. we need math.
We need stats. No, but I mean, the scores kind of speak for themselves. There's still a lot that needs to be played, though. So today we have 2 series. Monkey Freedom Fighters is not playing, but Vega is playing. I don't know why I said Monkey Freedom Fighters, but Vega is playing twice. First series is them up against Monkey Business. And that is a series that I think we're all looking very much forward to. What are we guys expecting from the series today?
I still consider Vega to be the front runner, or
Yeah.
one of, I guess, between them and Alliance, because Alliance have been looking better recently. So I'm expecting big things out of Vega. For No Logic Gaming and the other series as well, I was actually very impressed with the way that they've been playing as of late. Like, I underestimated them on the first day that I saw them, and since then they've been looking up. But
Yeah.
for me, it's still these guys, Vega. They're
But
probably...
Vega lost the game on Tuesday against Monkey Freedom Fighters.
Yeah,
Which
that is true.
In theory, a game that on paper, they should not lose the game.
I guess I'm still kind of riding like the LAN hype off them, you know? Like they still played very well. And maybe teams are starting to get more into shape now because of course the majors are coming up and everybody wants to have a decent shot at that. So the other like premier teams are starting to get better and better. So maybe that's why they're starting to run into some issues. But I still feel like they should be able to get in. Like they should not be bottom in the group.
I agree.
Definitely.
And what do you think? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they have like some kind of comfort heroes. Like when they played the Ember Spear and Lina combination, like they always impress me with that. Like solo one is Lina just constantly just overperforming. Like he's a beast on that hero.
They give him a ton of farm priority as well.
Exactly. Yeah. They just kind of the balance of their team is really interesting actually. And Mag, like he's just always
good.
like always been
I
amazing.
find that they're very versatile. Also, like in the draft, it's very difficult to try and shut them down. And if you do want to shut them down, I mean, you kind of want to have to ban the Brood, but then you have to let the Doom or the Shadow Fiend through, and then there's all these heroes that you kind of have to balance out, and you're always going to have, I mean, it's basically pick your poison. You're always going to have one hero that they're really good with that is going to go through.
That's true. The last time they played was the Nanyang qualifiers, wasn't it? And Vega won, didn't they? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, Vega lost against Team Liquid.
Yeah, they
No, but they beat Monkey Business.
Yeah, the last time
like
they
that.
played.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they beat
Yeah,
Monkey Business,
yeah.
but they lost to Liquid.
And that game, I remember watching it, and like Ember Spirit when Vega played it was amazing, and then Monkey Business tried to like pick it themselves, and it didn't actually work out in the end. So I think Ember Spirit actually is a big hero in this series we're gonna see.
Yeah, I think in both series, it's going to be like it's such a good hero overall. You can fight really early, you can chase people. It's
It
a very
does it
mobile
all.
hero. He does it all, and it's a core as well. He has a disable for himself, and you kind of want that if you want to go for those supports that are maybe a bit more beefy and not have the actual direct stuns, as we see a lot of Dazzles, Winter Wyverns. I mean, they're great heroes, great support heroes, but overall, perhaps not a disable, but you get that if you get yourself an Ember Spirit.
True.
So that's pretty good, but I think Monkey Business kind of like that Ember Spirit as well. They have not been doing too great, I believe, at least coming off some ties, or maybe that's actually Vega coming off ties. But Monkey Business, what are we expecting to see from them? It's been a while since we saw them here. Of course, they did really well at MLG. They lost against Team Secret in the second tournament or the end bracket. I don't know how they call that actually.
The second tournament, I think, is what they were calling it, wasn't it? Yeah. I don't. It was very confusing.
It was weird. It was like 2 tournaments.
Yeah,
it was the GSL series, but yeah, it was. They did do well, and I think they're going to provide us with some very entertaining Dota. I'm a big fan of watching Monkey Business. Always nice to see Moon, you know, on the offlane plays some of the heroes that we don't always see played in the way that Moon does it. You know, he'll pick up something like the Nature's Prophet. He'll be incredibly active across the map. Even when he runs something like the Tusk, we'll see him, you know, move around a lot earlier than a lot of other offlaners tend to do so. I love the plays, and I'm a huge fan of watching Fly as well. I think he's a really strong support, and I'd love to see some Fly Crystal Maiden. That's what I'm hoping out for today.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Crystal Main, period. Slightly biased, but that's okay. No, it's like Crystal Maiden very
Fly's
strong.
very good on the Crystal Maiden. If he picks
sure.
Crystal Maiden, we can expect to see some pretty spectacular freezing fields, that's for sure.
What do you think in terms of results? How are we going to see the teams play against each other? Is it going to be even? Going to be tied? Or is it going to be a stomp from one team?
I think Monkey Business versus Vega, I think a lot of people think it's maybe sided towards Vega, but I think it will be very close. I think it will be potentially a 1-1 between. I think both teams have the capability to take a game between them. I think the interesting series is going to be No Logic Gaming versus Vega, though. Even though obviously it's less than so the two big teams. You know, No Logic Gaming, they've been around a couple of days in terms of playing on DreamLeague. Some people might not be too familiar with them, but the fact that we saw they had the power against the CIS sides. They were able to deal with Empire.
Yeah.
And at the same time, then you look at Vega. Vega struggled against Monkey Freedom Fighters, where Monkey Freedom Fighters took a game against them. So No Logic looking strong against the CIS sides, and Vega in return looking a bit weak kind of against these teams that you kind of don't know what to expect. I kind of see Monkey Business kind of like Monkey Freedom Fighters, but the better monkey. If that's not too harsh on SingStack. They're the better monkey, but they've got that similar kind of very entertaining play style. They're really fun to watch, and I think that could be maybe kind of Vega's kind of weak point in both of the series, the fact that they're just not going to expect what these teams are going to throw at them.
So maybe, yeah, getting put out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
In a way. Would you agree, Andy?
I think the first series, yeah, I think 1-1, probably. Second series, I kind of also want to say 1-1 because I keep thinking that No Logic Gaming are going to get 2-0'd by like these other more established teams, and then they end up either winning the series or at least taking a game. You know, yesterday was a perfect example. I think they could even 2-0 that series that they were playing, but they made like a couple of mistakes, I feel, when they were pushing in. The game where Sing was playing Luna, when Garter actually dove
with the Slardar,
the Slardar dove like past the tier 3 tower into base when they had Aegis. I think they could have won that game quite easily at that stage, but if they keep playing that way and like kind of rein in the over-aggression, play a little bit more solid mid-late game, I think they could actually 2-0 as well.
Okay, against Vega, then, really?
I mean, I think it's possible.
Okay. But are you going to say that as your prediction?
I'll say 1-1. I'm not going to say 2-0. That's crazy talk.
Okay, it would be funny if that turned into 2-0. You know, you could have been right, but we'll find out later tonight. That is, of course, our second series.
Yep.
Before we actually go into our series, I want to still point out that you can go to facebook.com/ROGNordic if you want to have a chance to win either a SSD. I'm only going to give you the SSD right now, or a Gene motherboard. If you go to facebook.com/ROGNordic, your packaging skills are insane.
Step it up.
So
it's very dark.
You know, get the beauty out. Let's have a look at that.
Okay, hold on.
It looks very, it's very good.
I'm gonna break them.
opening boxes with Shane.
And put it back in the right way around this time. So we can look at it next time.
There you go. Look,
step it up, Shane.
You go to facebook.com/ROGNordic and there you fill in what you think is the most influential hero of this week's league play, and then tomorrow it will actually be Hani who will decide which hero that the winner is, basically. You also have to, of course, put in a motivation as to why you think that hero is the most influential hero of this week's league play. And if you share the same motivation as Hani, you have a chance to win the SSD and the motherboard, because I believe they're going to the same person.
it's pretty legit, actually.
Yeah. It's to be honest,
240 gigabytes.
I'm a bit more excited about the SSD than the motherboard.
a lot of videos.
It's a large amount of videos.
But yeah, so you can do that. And with that being said, it is time to say goodbye to our commentators so that they can prepare for our first series.
Bye, Shane. Off you go.
Goodbye, on.
Our commentators.
Am I off? Am I?
You're off. You're doing it today, man. I'm sticking it.
It is time for our weekly guest and Lumi to join us on the couch. I am very impressed, Tani, that you actually made it in 10 seconds to the couch. Because you seem to have a bit of an injury.
Yeah, I fell. Now my foot is broke and
You're not
can't
going to go with my story?
With your story?
Yeah, with the kid and the bus, and you're like...
Nah.
Dude, puppies work way better.
Puppies, okay. Yeah, so...
You can say that you saved the puppy.
Yeah, and you stopped the bus with your foot.
I think my foot would look worse then.
No, you have really strong feet.
Alright.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's what happened.
But he's basically limping his way through Stockholm today, unfortunately. Hopefully it will get better. Because it looks pretty swollen, actually.
Yeah, I think tomorrow will probably be a bit worse, but...
Just don't wear any shoes. It's fine.
You need ice. You should have gotten ice.
I got ice.
Hey, Lumi, how come you're wearing your coat?
It's cold.
Okay.
It's kind of trendy as well.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. It looks good, but it's like I'm just curious.
It looks good because I'm wearing it.
Oh, smooth. How are you doing, Fawn?
I'm good. I didn't get lost today. That's a start.
Didn't get lost. I remembered you when we got off the bus.
We actually had like a roll call when we were leaving the bus. It's like, yeah, Lumi, Shane, are you guys ready to leave? I don't know why I got called. I've never.
Because I wanted to say just Lumi, but then you were sitting right next to him. It's like
We were
probably-
both very absorbed in our game.
You actually were both
yeah.
so
So
in the game.
we were
Plants
gonna
vs
go.
Zombies. It looks actually pretty legit.
I did actually. I
Yeah.
saw a bit of it yesterday, but it did look legit. So today we have some exciting series coming up. We have Monkey Business taking on Vega Squadron. And from you guys, I want to hear what you're expecting to see from the series. Are we going to see explosive games, hopefully?
I think Monkey Business against Vega Squadron should be very close games for sure. I'm expecting it's a tough call. Could go either direction. I think you can't really make a safe bet on that one. Can be 1-1, 2-0 in both directions.
I actually checked out the bets on Ghost Gamers beforehand, and they don't agree with you.
Okay.
So you can on Ghost Gamers you can actually bet on a draw as well.
Okay.
So you can bet on Monkey Business winning 2-0. That was I believe 24% or something like that. Draw
24%.
24%, and then Vega they had like 55%. Probably, and my math is not really correct, but it's about
It's close enough, yeah.
close enough. It's about that. So they actually like Vega a lot more than Monkey Business.
Okay, so further with my thought,
Sorry,
I didn't mean like going with those predictions. I don't mean that it's going to be a draw per se, but I wouldn't take my bet on that one. In comparison to the No Logic against Vega game, I would go with 2-0 Vega in that game.
Yeah, it's more obvious who would win, I guess.
Yeah, I
So
think
you're going with the safe bets.
yeah, I would go with this.
Yeah.
So you're not
Responsible
not a
gambler.
value better.
You got a value bet.
That's a value bet.
No, but a value bet
That-
is
no,
The
if,
value
that's
bet
a
is if you bet
value
on
bet.
No Logic Gaming.
Yeah.
yes.
Wait,
You just bet like
No,
two
the value
games.
bet is you have a
I'm so bad
pretty
at
high
this.
chance of earning your return.
Isn't that a value bet? then?
That's a value
I
bet
thought
to
the
me.
value bet was if you
That's
go for
called
the
risky bet.
If we go for the
No,
underdog,
we're
you have a
calling
chance
it-
to
we're calling
win
it the value
loads
bet.
because you get loads of value if you win.
That's what I think as well. I'm going with Shiva for once.
Has to happen sometime. But it's
I don't think we should go to a casino.
maybe we should not go to the casino.
I actually never been.
I can
Never
play
been.
poker pretty decently now.
I watched. It was awful.
No, but that was the first day.
You
The
had
ve-
she had a flush, and she like.
that was the
checked
first
the
day I
whole
played.
way.
That was the first day I played poker. But after that, it went really well.
I'm sure it did.
In the
I
main
stopped
tournament.
watching.
Yeah,
Did it?
it actually did. I
Okay.
got further than a lot of the pro poker players
Okay.
in the tournament. So I got further than Vlad as well.
That's actually impressive.
So yeah,
Wait, is Villat actually good at
Yeah, he's
poker?
pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
like they were in my because there were like 2 first days. My first day there were like a bit over 200 people,
Mhm.
and I got out at like 130, as in like about 70 or 80 people left before me, or 90 people, something like that.
It's not bad.
So it's pretty good, guys. Not that bad at poker. Slightly bad. I might have been a little bit safe.
We were just betting nothing and just waiting.
No, not the whole time. But at the end, it kind of... Because at the end, you kind of had to. But Dota. Sorry. Distracted here. So Dota, we have... Lumi, what do you think? Actually, wait a second.
Okay.
It is time for the preliminary analysis.
So if I have to make a bet whether the series is going to end 2-0 or 1-1, I'm actually going to say 2-0 Monkey Business because Vega, as of late, has been looking a bit shaky. They played 5 games against Team Liquid, and I think they lost 3 out of the 5. And the only 2 wins that they have got was Wisp Tiny Games. So I think first thing that we're going to look into today is probably a Wisp ban coming out from Monkey Business. I'm sure they have done research against Vega. One of the very strong suit that Vega also do is a very farm support on solo. In fact, he is so farmed that he's likely to get second or third net worth on his team.
Yeah.
He is very likely to do on a hero like support Lina.
Yeah.
And we've seen support Lina in the past go Aghanims, Yules, perhaps even a damage item like an MKB afterwards. And then he just essentially becomes a 4th core. So that's something that I would expect. Meanwhile, on the side of Monkey Business, I think people are... I mean, when you look at Vega, they're invited to the major.
Yeah.
They're doing very well. I think that's the land hype. They won ESL. But I actually think that Monkey right now is performing a little bit better. the 1-3 score on DreamLeague is very misleading because they were 1-3, and then to me during the majors qualifier they really powered up.
Yeah, they grew a lot.
Yeah, and then of course we saw them performing against Secret recently, so I actually like Monkey quite a bit here today.
You think they've grown to the point where they are like better than Vega in this case?
I think they're the best team in DreamLeague right now.
Okay.
All right.
Better than Alliance. Over Alliance?
Over Vega. Maybe I'm just like, I really enjoy Moon Meander's offlane.
Yeah.
He really impressed me with his Doom play in the majors.
Okay.
But
what do you prefer to see him on if you have a choice?
Doom if he gets it.
Yeah.
But most likely not.
Probably banned.
Probably Tusk.
Tusk is very,
Tusk, yeah.
I think he truly shines on one of those like high mobility heroes. His Darkseer is very good as well. He generally rushes, well, I guess most Darkseer go mech into Blink, but seems to me that his Blink play is a lot more succinct than most other Darkseers, so.
What about the Slider? The offlane Slider?
I haven't seen Slaughter as much yet, so I can't really say.
Okay, and for Monkey Business versus Vega, you think Vega is... What do they need to focus on? Because obviously you just said that Monkey Business will win. What does Vega need to focus on to actually win instead of lose?
When Vega lose fights, off the replays I've seen, is that they become very aggressive, and they're aggressive at the wrong time. So in one of the games they played against Team Liquid, they ran a 4-man smoke gank, when, for example, when Max Beastmaster is dead. Generally, when they pick Beastmaster, they really rely on Beastmaster's damage and as well as stun. But at the same time, they ran a gank without them. So I feel like if Vega needs to be doing well, they need to rein in some of their aggression. In fact, a lot of times I feel like they're over-aggression, too aggressive. So maybe that's something that Monkey could exploit, or Vega needs to reel back in.
Okay, for both of the teams, they actually like playing Beastmaster quite a bit. We have, of course, No Tail mid Beastmaster, but I think Moon also played Beastmaster.
We saw that in DreamLeague, yeah.
We did see that. And on the other side, you've got Mag Beastmaster, also a player that is really known for his Beastmaster play. Is that a hero that we're going to see, or is he going to be banned out, do you think, Hani?
I think it depends on what other heroes are played in this series. I think Night Stalker is a very good counter to the hero, just because you overwhelmingly have nighttime, and Hawk during nighttime is just not nearly as good.
Yeah.
And since we've seen a lot of Night Stalker recently, I would say it's a pretty good counter pick, and then you need to watch out how you pick the Beastmaster. But I do think that Monkey Business plays a better Beastmaster overall, because they played in different roles as well. Like No Tail plays the hero just as good as Moonmeander plays it on the offlane.
And do you think they can utilize it better than Mag does on the Beastmaster?
Yeah, I do think so.
Okay.
You always have to kind of watch out for the last pick Meepo as well. Like that's something that has to be in the back of your mind when you're drafting against Monkey Business. You know what I mean? You're just kind of like.
It's true. Also, especially when you have a very strong Broodmother on the side with Mac on the side of Vega Squadron, and
they pick him in the first two, right?
They do, but Meepo is a very strong counter against the hero.
Is, and then Dazzle as well is another hero that both of these teams really favor. Like Fly is just amazing on the hero. Like there was one game, it was against Necrolite in the qualifiers. Do you remember that game?
No.
Well, anyway, he just played amazing. Timing his Shallow Graves perfectly. You know, he just always on point, really good positioning with the hero. You know, it's very rare you see a Dazzle played that well, and I was just really impressed by it.
So in this series, we're gonna have, of course, Mag on one offlane, Moon on the other offlane. Both are kind of, I want to say, the same type of offlane player. Wanna be playmakers, right? Am I right in saying that?
I think the patch lends to playmaking offlane heroes, and thus the playmaking players really stand out, like Moon and Mag. Yeah. Although I'm not sure whether they're gonna be on isolated points of the map, because again, Vega is one of those teams that love to run aggressive trialing to give Mag that 1v1. So we might see a Moon Mag kind of 1v1 heads up, and then we might see trialing versus trialing. I
think Moon is a bit more of a shiny player overall.
Oh, compared to Mag?
Yeah, compared to Mag. Mag has, I think, a bit more farm intensive. Like the way he plays on a lane is more careful, predicted on how he moves on the map. When you see his Brood, he rarely shows up with a hero. Often it's just him farming and then getting his supports moving to his lane to get the aggression on his lane, while Moon is the person that you will expect to gank towards the mid lane very often as well. So he moves a lot more.
He also rotates to the runes quite a lot to try and help out the mid lane, whereas Mag doesn't really.
If that is the case, where does the extra aggression from Vega come from? Is that no one in the mid lane?
It's a rotation of the
supports mostly.
That's why I like Ember Spirit for Vega so much, because it's just a really good, like, I know I've said it like 3 times, but I really think it's very important for the team, because it sets up for their solo support roaming, which solo does amazingly on Lina. Like, it just gives so much, like, there's very few mid laners who can just lock down, like the Queen of Pain, like all these really high, intense mobile heroes, and allow your support to, like, solo roam. So I think it actually is very important.
Yeah, we are, by the way, waiting for the last player to join the lobby before we start the game, so we should be heading into our first game of the first series real soon. But before we do, I actually want to hear from you guys before we see the draft this time. Do your predictions.
I'm going to jump on the Lumi train.
The Lumi train.
Yeah.
2-0 Monkey Business.
I think Monkey Business.
This train might get lost, though.
Yeah, well, it's fine. We'll get lost
It
together.
has a tendency
Lumi.
to get lost.
I honestly think Monkey Business have been playing really good lately. And like when I watch them in the qualifiers, they know how to drown opponents out. Like once they get an advantage, they really, really crush them. So I think, yeah, 2-0 Monkey Business.
Okay. What do you think, Hani?
I mean, I said obviously it's a close series
Yeah,
between
you
these
said
two
kind of
teams,
1-1, I
but
guess. But
I would always go with my old teammates, so 2-0 for them.
2-0 for
Yeah.
them.
Wow.
Also, Monkey
Okay.
Business. I think I was not expecting. I was expecting 1-1s, guys, because I think that is
That's no fun,
the
though.
closeness. I know, but it's a close series. So
It
normally
is,
for
yeah.
close series, people go for the 1-1 hype. But 2-0, I think for Vega, if they win the last couple of games that Vega played, every time they lost the first game, they won the second game. Also in best of 3 series, they lost. They either tied or they lost the best of 3 series in the third game. But they won the second game because, you know, you play against something, you lose against something, and then it's like, damn it, this is what we should have done differently. And then they end up winning. So I'm thinking a 1-1 if Vega loses the first game. If Monkey Business wins the first game, then it will be a 1-1. If Vega wins the first game, it will be 2-0. There we go. That's what I think.
Okay.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah. It's actually a very good sign if a team can do that. If they can lose the first game and then go in and win the next 2.
Especially like on LAN, if you think about that,
Exactly, yeah.
that's, I mean, when they played at ESL, I mean, probably one of the reasons why they won, they could adapt on the go in the middle of.
I mean, that's where it's a
series.
different scenario, though. If you have a BO2 or
Yeah.
a best of 3, you can easier favor one team or the other. Right now, I would probably give the edge to Vega, I think. Monkey Business, to me, still needs to figure out, especially after the loss yesterday to
Yeah.
Empire, where they position themselves, or like maybe on how they open their drafts. But obviously, like here where it's a 2-game series, it's hard to adapt to a game to gameplay.
Yeah.
Where I would go with them.
Okay, but you're still rooting for your old teammates.
Yeah, of course.
Could tell us something about your old teammates, because they obviously are playing together right now again, and they have a bit of different roles. Yesterday you mentioned that Notel seems to thrive more in the mid role.
I do think that he enjoys it more than playing support. He came from a mid position. Now obviously he plays. It depends on what hero's being played, where he's gonna play. Since Miracle, you have one of the strongest mid players or all-round carry players there is, and so I guess Notel is the one that's adapts. That if you need someone that plays more of a supportive role as a core, then he's gonna step up and play that. Where Miracle is gonna be for sure the #1 farmer in the team for Monkey Business.
We've seen them play Lone Druid sometimes. What do you think about Lone Druid in this patch? Like, do you think he has any place in the patch, or like I know Notel loves that hero. Like,
I'm actually quite bad with Lone Druid. I don't really know what has been changed about the hero. So unless it's played a lot, then I'm like, yeah.
The bear summon time got buffed.
Yeah, and when you're in bear form, your bonus damage is more. It's like 120 or something. It's crazy.
That feels like an Ice Rock thing. Like
Ice Rock.
It's just a hero doesn't get played. Okay, let's just buff him a bit. Or he gets buffed a bit more, and suddenly he has now he's 150 damage level 3.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
And 15
He also has
armor.
more armor or something.
Yeah, 15
or
armor.
20 or something. It's
A
crazy.
lot.
So you're saying it's like a notice me buff?
Yeah. Oh, we put a bit more in there.
Yeah,
Let's make it 200 and see how that goes.
But it takes, I mean, compared to all the other heroes, it takes long for him to get online, and I guess that's the reason why he's not picked that much, because it just takes too long for him to start.
I just don't think Lone Druid fits in the patch. I mean, I have to quote that game where it was Admiral Bulldog Lone Druid against the Clockwork from NIP, and Clockwork had 2 last hits, and then
He destroyed that Clockwork.
The Clockwork, once he got level 6, did so much more than a Lone Druid ever could. And this patch, the fights happen 15 minutes in. What do you expect out of your Lone Druid 15 minutes in? Maybe he has face boots, like he's working towards the Radiance. I just feel like you don't have enough of an impact.
But we also heard Ake speak yesterday.
It was
the day before
yesterday about how there is a chance for Chen coming back into the game, and then you maybe work more towards like a very, very old school kind of strat was where you went Sven, Lone plus Chen. Like that kind of three heroes where you just push very, very early, and that could be something you could potentially do.
But that's more like of a gimmicky kind of cheesy kind of lineup, right?
It's not a lone druid good at every game kind of thing.
Yeah, you have to like have the right time, and because you just mentioned 3 heroes, you kind of have to also
it's more like that,
give a lot away before you actually pick them.
What I meant is that early pushes is I think it's more optional now, just because there's not as much just burst out. Like you don't play Lina nearly as much in the mid lane. You don't have a Leshrug in every game, or it's banned. Or Gyrocopter is also not always picked, so there's a lot less AoE per se. And then that opens up for heroes such as Chen or maybe even Lone Druid that you can't push early on.
But if you go for early pushing heroes, then why don't we see more Shadow Shaman? Is it just too squishy and slow?
I don't think Shadow Shaman deals well with aggression at all. I think
no. But if he gets ahead, you can push real fast. That's the point.
The problem though, when you mention Shadow Shaman, yes, he's very good at pushing early, but I think it's just one of those heroes, just like Puck. Why is Puck not played as much? Because often these trendy mid heroes, if you have it as a mid role, it just doesn't deal any physical damage at one portion of the game. Yes, you can push, but what's the difference between having Shadow Shaman on a support position or a core position? There's not a big difference, because you drop the wards 1 to 6, you will get the levels, and that can be helped if you have a carry that rotates to the jungle position, and then you get your levels, you get 6. There's hardly any difference in what the Shadow Shaman out of mid position would do better than.
Yeah, true. And I guess Jakiro is like the obvious replacement for Shadow Shaman as well. Like I know Monkey Business really like their Jakiro.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, he's been making a bit of a comeback. Yeah. Luckily.
I think they have an amazing win rate, like over 78% with that hero. So it's a hero that we should tend to look towards to. No-Tail also enjoys his Venomancer quite a bit.
Yes.
They play on a core position, so
it's usually like solo safe or solo offlane, isn't it? Like that's usually when I see.
I think NIP plays it offlane.
I wonder if there's going to be a trade-off of Wisp and Doom, though. I think these 2 heroes are, to me, very interesting for both teams.
Well, we're going to find out what's going to happen with that, because we are actually finally into the draft. The players have shown up, and we can take a look at what they will go for. Now, one hero that I really think that will be one of the deciding heroes for most of the series today is Disruptor, because we've seen Disruptor over the last 3 days do so much work. Every time he gets ahead in the laning stage, which a lot of teams, I mean, they're attempting to get ahead in the laning stage, he's just the one to make sure that it just gets sealed in.
I would say it's a situational pick.
Okay.
It's that Disruptor is a good hero against Wisp often. Now Wisp is banned, so it's like an answer, also to Ember. But it's more like if a team likes to play the hero, then sure, it might be a trend. But it's not like the go-to hero at all times. And between these 2 heroes, there's I would say little Disruptor play.
5 seconds remaining.
I'm not entirely sure, but it's for sure a good hero. But it's not like, oh my god, it's gonna be the Disruptor pick.
No, but I think it's gonna, like, for me, it feels like he's had such a big impact. I just feel like
it's good when the team is on par with the hero, but I would say it's not like the must pick meta support hero.
Shadow Fiend, however, does make it through with the IO as well as the Dark Seer band. I mean, one had to go through. It's the Shadow Fiend.
And that's a Shadow Fiend on Dire. It could be kind of a steal as a pick.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Miracle, probably next to no one plays the hero best. I would say you can make that statement.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe mention RTC next to those, but it's an interesting pickup for sure.
Dire team pick.
That also means that there's going to be... Monkey Business can't really run an aggressive trailer or anything like that, or maybe dual lane, but they have to have a support that helps with stacking camps at this point. They have to have a support that rotates into the jungle, because it's a Shadow Fiend on Dire's side. It kind of has to...
Dazzle, I think.
They could pick the Dazzle right now.
Yeah, I think it's
just
really good against the Brood.
It's not just for the stacking purposes, but also make sure that the laning stage of Shadow Fiend is not disrupted.
Yeah.
On Dire's side especially, you're very, very fragile. Like any gang, especially when you see a Tusk is going to rotate on the mid lane a lot. You will be trying to gank that hero.
That's a very early starter pick.
Ban.
It is.
I would say it's pretty okay against the Brute though. from it's just a fear factor if you get
amplified,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to escape.
I really liked the
10
Tiny yesterday that we saw
seconds
against the Brew rather. Not against the Brood. Yeah. There you go.
5 seconds remaining.
Just get vision on him, be that Thunderstrike, be that amplified damage from the Slaughter, and then just toss someone in.
I would also say though that a big factor to that was that Demon showed up too much. It just snowballed with the fact that Demon had 2 early kills in those games, and then
10 seconds
Tiny
remaining.
killed him 3-4 times,
Yeah.
and it just
Dire
snowballed
team
with that. If you die once on Brute, it's actually very crucial in comparison to another carry. You can't really make these kind of mistakes.
Do you think, Lumi, this is the offlane slider?
I guess that's the beauty of the pick, right? You could
Yeah,
kind of hide
exactly,
it a
yeah.
little bit.
It can be anything, to be
Yeah.
honest.
The support slaughter is not even out of the question as well. So
I know that Johanna
5
likes
seconds
the
remaining.
idea of support slaughter as well. I mean, he used to play the hero on a support role.
okay.
Reserve
so-
time.
Yeah,
It's
we've
for
actually
sure.
seen that.
It's for sure not taken away that it could be even a support position here.
If you see a support Slaughter, which hero do you like to see with it as a duo support?
Some setup stun, like Bane is pretty good. Maybe even you could do Shadow Demon. It's pretty decent against Tusk.
I think Shadow Demon is one option,
Yeah.
But the problem is they're all single target.
and you don't push waves well. Like,
You kind of need against the Brood. You
I
need
think
something else.
Wyvern is the perfect fit because Slaughter, when he sprints in, he gets himself into a lot of harm's way. And that's where Cole's Embrace gets really good. Winter's Curse, after he draws so much attention.
Yeah.
And you talked about the Slaughter lack of deep push. Well, Splinter Blast is good for that too. So
Yeah.
I think Winter plus Slaughter is kind of a nice dual support, but we don't even know if Slaughter is a
but
support.
that would be the most, to me, it's still the most unlikely case. I would
10
assume that a
seconds
Slaughter
remaining.
rather goes into a
core
a carry
position. Yeah,
core
yeah.
position or in an
5
offlane
seconds
position,
Right.
or it being a support.
Well,
Lich ban.
Vega was expecting the Lich. I mean, Lich has been very strong and very highly prioritized over the last few series that we've seen.
It just opens up your offlane so much.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we're 12 heroes in and we don't see Ember pick or ban
I
yet.
think it's picked now, right? With Vega. They love the hero.
Everybody loves that hero.
Yeah, I think Vega
Played more
Better.
than Monkey Business?
well, I think better than Monkey Business.
Vega has
10 seconds.
a big win rate on the
remaining.
hero.
I think it's like 90% or something. isn't
Like
it?
10 wins, 2
5
losses or something
seconds
like that.
remaining.
Like
It's crazy.
pretty high win rate.
I'd say on the side of Monkey Business
Reserve
right now, they
time.
just need control, supportive control, just because these two heroes open up for Roche very easy on Dire's side.
Yeah.
You hardly need anything, so some kind of
Gank.
gank or like even healing supports. I mean, Desola's taken out by themselves, so
You still have Witch Doctor. That's a lot of minus armor for a death ward.
Dire
solid
team
support
pick.
pick up here by Vega.
Bane. That
Yep.
kind of takes like.
But they still leave the 2 cores open. They
Yeah.
still leave their mid position as well as carry position open.
And I guess Bane, I mean, if you do go for an Ember Spirit, Bane is actually pretty good against an Ember Spirit as well.
Yeah, it is. That's why I'm thinking they're less likely going to pick it now
Yeah.
because of the Bane pickup. Like usually they'd combo it up with a Lina who's still available, and they haven't picked that.
10
So.
seconds
like-
remaining.
Yeah, for Vega. But then if they do that, then we might not see a Tusk. Or we might see a Tusk as a core instead of a support.
Yeah. Well,
But I don't think that's going to
solo
be happening.
safe lane.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like there's no. I don't think there's space for Lina anymore unless it's no one playing the Lina.
No, there isn't.
I would almost think that Slaughter is gonna go towards an offlane position, not towards a carry position.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
could be.
that duo
10
as a lane
seconds remaining.
has a hard time dealing with Brute. Like you don't really do that much in the early
5
stage.
seconds remaining.
The Liquid Fire is too long cooldown. Dual Breath is too expensive mana-wise
Reserve
to be able
time.
to
Yeah, it's
use it on the
spam
spiders all the time. Which hero would you like to see against Brood if it's a safe lane solo for someone? Because obviously yesterday we discussed this and we said like the old school ones, you've got of course your Tide, you got your Legion Commander, which is also kind of counterable, and we've seen Vega counter it. And actually we've seen Vega go Brood mid as well. Did we
Yeah.
not? So
That
there's
depends on that will depend on the matchup.
on the
though.
matchup, but it's going to be a
very
Shadow Fiend,
unlikely,
and that's
yeah.
unlikely, yeah.
I think it's more important to pick up a hero that could deal with Brood during the mid game rather than the laning stage.
Okay.
Because in lane, you could easily shut down Brood with Dusk, I mean, Jakiro's a great setup hero after Dust. You just dual breath, liquid fire, and suddenly he's taking so much DOT damage.
Wind Ranger at your
It's more that
service.
once the support rotates off the lane and the carry's on his own, can he deal with the spiders? Can he deal with the tower being harassed? So with that in mind, I think Gyro generally is on a safe lane position, does okay against Brood. We talked about things like LC, Axe.
Yeah.
That's the tradition of Brood counters.
Necro's If
Not sure if Necro could spam heal as fast.
Oh, Brew.
Brewmaster, interesting. So is
Brew
this
can actually do fine though.
is this the safe lane Brood that we get a quick blink and try to control the tempo of the game, or is this something
It's
else?
either quick or could be the quick blink. You could also go the mana boots route,
Okay.
which is okay.
Any possibility of seeing a safe lane
10
Shadow Fiend
seconds
and then a
remaining.
mid Brood?
I don't think it pays off.
Safe lane.
5
The problem with that
seconds
is
remaining.
that despite you being, even if you die 3 times in a mid position Shadow Fiend, which is
Reserve time.
I would say rather unlikely,
Mm-hmm.
you still get a quick 5 out of a mid position where you have a
Dire
bottle then,
team back.
and then utilizing a forest is just a lot easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just gain, despite being behind, a lot more out of a mid position Shadow Fiend than a side lane, where you can hardly move away, and you share experience.
True.
10
So
seconds
what we're gonna see
remaining.
is the Wind Ranger versus the Shadow Fiend matchup, and we saw Excalibur tore through
5
Yuku's
seconds remaining.
or Yuki's
did.
Shadow Fiend
Yeah,
the
we
other
did.
day.
we did. Is that a matchup that should be typically won by a
time.
Wind Ranger?
No,
Early levels, Wind Ranger has a pretty.
you have
decent
an
Yeah.
advantage,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't. I don't think you
You
need
could
to.
have Bane rotate mid as well in the start. That might help.
Yeah, definitely. I think Bane will rotate mid. Actually.
He will. Usually, when Shadow Fiend is played
Mhm.
on the dire side, he's gonna have a hard time. So that's where I was expecting a support that can help out the Shadow Fiend. Just make sure
Yeah.
that his lane is not horrendously bad in the start. Bane for sure will help out in mid. He will annoy him, probably with the Brain Sap. Like since the change of Brain Sap, it's just so cost efficient to annoy the mid laner.
Yep.
Right,
We
cores.
usually see Bane like go mid just to get 1 point in Feeble, but yeah, now the Brain Sap is so efficient that you just go in, trade a hit.
It's like what is 100? No, 90 mana, 110 mana.
We could do a dual lane, like
not
Jakiro
sure.
starter off lane.
Haven't played Bane for
Sorry.
for a while.
I just
10
know it's.
seconds
I think it's
remaining.
110. I think it's 110.
What do we think for
5 seconds
Monkey Business having a
remaining.
chance to go for dual lanes? Because
Yeah,
I still
think,
agree that
yeah.
there should be a support that could easily
Reserve
either rotate
time.
mid or stack camps in a jungle. And
I mean,
should therefore
Jakiro could be that
around.
hero. Liquid Fire on
Yeah.
the mid lane is not too bad.
True, but he's really slow.
He is.
Let's not also forget the possibility of a support Brewmaster. We saw Kurogi did that the other day for Team Liquid. It is very greedy support,
I'm
but
personally not.
Yeah.
I think Brewmaster needs a quick blink, like somewhat a quick blink, at least a quick 6.
What do you think of PL for Vega Squadron here? Like, you have the Broodmother making the space.
10
Tusk and Bane are
seconds
pretty solid
remaining.
laners. Like, you're gonna,
PL?
yeah, fundamental.
5 seconds
Ursa.
remaining.
PL has like the worst
Dire
win rate.
team pick.
I thought it was kind of good against the Amplify. You can remove it. You can.
I actually think that Ursa against Brew seems very.
it seems
weak.
really terrible, right?
Yeah.
You
You're
get
gonna
miss from
You're,
the
you're gonna get
drunken haze.
spawn when
Yeah.
you ulti.
6-second airtime is not exactly where you want to be. I'm not sure I'm sold on this pick.
Well, they have the sleep into walk up clap.
But it could also be that they picked Ursa. Like what we've seen
10
from Vega
seconds
in the
remaining.
game, they barely won with Ursa. They got Roche every single
5
time.
Yeah.
So
seconds
what's going to happen
remaining.
is that they will pressure.
They're
the
fighting for Roshan earlier.
Yeah.
Then
They
they're
will just
ready.
go for the Roche early on.
Reserve time.
Obviously, on the side of Monkey Business, you have the 5-on-5 that you can contest with very early is
Vega could
it's
even
very strong.
like do Roshan level 1.
It's just that you're on Radiant side. It's
Yeah.
still very tough. So you could see maybe some spam hero on Monkey Business side, just to make sure that it's not gonna, it's not that easy
Yeah,
to
yeah.
just take Roche, that you can contest it.
What do
I
we
like
think for last
Wyvern
one?
here, man.
Wyvern's
Yeah.
really-
It's a Shadow Demon.
Shadow Demon,
We
not bad.
mentioned him before as well. Good setup for the Crush, good setup for the Ice Bath. I
And-
like it.
And it's a
Amazing.
protective hero, and it's a protective hero for the mid lane.
Yeah, it's very, very good against Ursa as well. You can just ulti him.
So you all said 2-0 Monkey Business.
Yep.
I think you want to stick with that,
I like the lineup a lot.
right?
that
At
they
least
have.
for this game, now that you see the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Depends on, I would say, to me what it comes down to is how much impact Broodmother will have
Yeah.
in start.
Yeah.
Because the other heroes are very single target oriented. So Brute needs to pressure very early. They can get space for the Roshan, and then you snowball from there. You get early towers, and then the next Rosh will be a lot easier. Once the bottom tower is gone, you can go for Rosh, and that's, I mean, that's how Vega won the other day with Ursa, and that's probably the plan on how you play around Ursa generally.
So a lot is depending on the laning stage here.
Laning stage, as for sure, as well as your, I guess, the early Rosh attempt, the first attempt on the Rosh, if you get it, and then what you can, how you capitalize from there. Do you get the, are you gonna get the first tower, the first towers, and can you push from there? But I think Monkey Business has a pretty strong 5-on-5 and solid late game.
Well, we're going to find out how the first Roshan is going to go and how the laning stage is going to go with our commentators, Owen and Andy. For our first game, it is going to be a Monkey Business taking on Vega Squadron.